I'm joined by Bret Baier, host of Special Report. Now, Bret, we've been doing advanced planning here for the Platinum Jubilee of the Hugh Hewitt Show, which will occur on July 10th, 2070. We've got the sound effects ready. Can we play those for Bret? That's it. That's our audio from 2070. What have you got planned for the Platinum anniversary of Special Report?
Hopefully more than crickets chirping. I don't know. Listen, it is a spectacle, and I've never been a huge royal watcher, but on these big events, it's kind of interesting to watch. And obviously, we got our team over there, and 70 years on the throne. You think about all the Queen has seen in her time, and how crucial the UK has been to the US. So I look at more of it as a historical thing, and back in time, what she's seen and been through. The pomp and circumstance is just fun to look at.
Yeah, Bret, I was thinking of To Rescue the Republic, your book about U.S. Grant, and when he went abroad after his presidency and how he was greeted. You want to recall that for people? I mean, they were trooping the colors for him everywhere because the Europeans love this stuff.
Yeah, he was vetted, treated to huge crowds every place he went. Because not only was he the president who had just finished his term, but he was general who won the Civil War. And every place he went, it was a massive turnout, and he was, he and his wife were shown all the best Europe and really the world had to offer each place, and it's one of the reasons why Mrs. Grant really wanted to go back to the White House.
Yeah, and I like to remind people when TR quit and went around the world, the same thing happened. So when we celebrate the Queen, we are simply repaying the favor that our heads of state have received from other governments around the world. Now, Bret, it also makes me wonder, though, it's a bigger question, and it's not one I mean to surprise you with. You're quickly becoming America's newsman, America's anchor, and people are watching Special Report every night. I was honored to do the show last night. I love doing the show because I think those people are serious news watchers. What's your objective long term? I mean, when you start a job, you just want to do the job. But after you've been doing it, and you've been doing it a decade, or I don't know how long you've been doing it, but
13 years from Brit.
Really?
Over January 2009.
Wow.
I took over from Brit Hume. Yeah.
Okay, so the first couple of years, you're just trying to figure out how to hit the brakes, right? At least I was doing this radio show. But 23 years in, I start thinking about landing the plane in 7 years, and that's my plan. What do you want to achieve for Special Report?
It's really funny. I think about, goals, and I really want Special Report to be like the preeminent news source, and a place people could go and feel like they have fair coverage, and at the end of the hour, they get a sense of what's happening in the U.S. and around the world, and they get some perspective and analysis of it in a fair way. So I think we've achieved that. And, it's been this, if you build it, they will come thing. It's not the same as every other show on Fox. It's different. It's got its own sense about it. And Fox has been amazing to allow us to do that. So I want to continue to build it, continue to build that brand, and then do some long form pieces that enable me to focus on one thing, like our specials. And so we've been starting to do that. There's one that just launched on Fox Nation called The Unauthorized History of Vietnam, which is a series of pieces about kind of new research looking back at Vietnam and how people look at it differently today based on what we know.
I am looking forward to, I've only seen the tease on the search for the underwater battleships because my mother-in-law's first husband, if people can follow that, was a skipper of the Twigs when it went down to a kamikaze off of Okinawa. And I don't know if they've ever found the Twigs. I don't know which ships you found, but I am going to be watching that with great interest because the technology is now available. How do you find the time? I mean, you got General Milley over at Arlington. You've got others, but how do you find the time to do this and do 5 days a week?
Yeah. So you just make the time. I mean, I really love it. I don't, it's not like a chore. I really do love it. And I have great teams on both Special Report and the doc units. That lost battleships of World War II, it's fascinating, like all of the effort that went into it and some of the video that you see. I mean, the early days when we found the Titanic, and you remember the video, it's exponentially better now, and they're piecing together what happened to all of these warships that went down. It's really amazing.
No, I saw that, and I immediately wrote down. I don't know when that launches on Fox Nation, but I am going to be watching. Admiral Stavridis is coming up at the bottom of the hour to talk about his new book, and we'll talk about that. Let's go back to what we talked about yesterday. You worked in breaking news. It was terrible news, but it was not the slaughter that I feared. It's a workplace or a marital murder. The inflation story, though, I talked last night about Las Vegas, and Generalissimo just told me they're not doing anything this summer because the cost of gasoline is $6 a gallon. You can't go anywhere. Did you get reaction to those segments last night? Because that is the story of everyone's life.
I think so, yeah. A lot of people reacted on Twitter and elsewhere, and they agree. I mean, look, you look at the polls, you look at things that concern Americans, and inflation is number one. It's the thing that's driving everything. So, as we get closer and closer to November, I think Democrats are realizing how much that's going to affect the outcome. I mean, you've got obviously the issue of guns, you've got abortion, and in unique individual local races, there are different things. But for the most part, it's how you feel at the kitchen table and what your monetary situation is. Now, it's not that great for a lot of people going check to check.
I'll close with this. When we're talking about a particular race, and I picked the Nevada Senate race, it's because a lot of people used to drive from L.A. and Orange County and Ventura County, the 101 to the 10 to the 15 into Vegas. That drive has tripled in cost in the 6 years since I left from California. That's money that's not, if they even have it when they get there, if they even go, they can't spend it in Las Vegas. I think Nevada has got to be the Democrats' real worry that they're not talking about at this point, Brett.
Well, I agree, and I think there are a couple of others that could pop up that are not on the radar right now. And Nevada is clearly one of the races that Republicans are looking at and saying this could turn. Listen, some things can happen between now and then, but if the trajectory holds, you're looking anywhere from 25 to 40 seats in the House, and you're looking at 2 to 4 seats in the Senate, which is really all they need.
That's all they need, and I hope it happens. But you don't say that because you're an anchor and a newsman. Bret Baier, thank you for joining us. We'll be watching Special Report tonight. Set it on your VCR, America. It's America's newscast. Let me also tell everyone that andrewandtodd.com are out there. They are sponsors of my show. I do my own ads. Unlike Brett, when he does Special Report, he gets to go to commercial break. I get to tell you about andrewandtodd.com, and that's because they will finance your house. Refinance it. Gas is cutting into people's life and food and everything else, but you still have to send your kids to college if you've said you will send your kids to college. And you may have saved for 18 years and suddenly find that tuition's gone up, and you may have to refinance your house to make that dream come possible. If you've got to do that, I bet you right now the advice that you will get from Andrew Del Rey and Todd Avakian is to use an ARM. Now, I have not talked about adjustable rate mortgages in years because they didn't make any sense in years. But now they make sense again for people who know they will move within 5 or 7 years, which is the average time you spend. They do not make sense for a first-time purchaser who may be in a house for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. But they do make sense for some people who can refinance again. And I also believe with my heart that this will be the Carter-Reagan cycle. And it's begun. And the Carter-Reagan cycle on interest rates is a sharp, steep rise right now. So if you lock in an ARM right now at a low price, 7 years from now, you'll be able to refinance. I really do believe that. Now, some people got caught doing that at the wrong time. And that's why you need professionals who care about you, like Andrew Del Rey and Todd Avakian. Call them at 888-888-1172 or go to their website, andrewandtodd.com. I only let people sponsor the show whose products I use or intend to use, and Andrew and Todd have refinanced us or got us mortgages repeatedly. Everybody on the show, everybody I know, not everybody I know, but everybody I know who tells me that they tried Andrew and Todd, and they very, very impressed with them. Stay tuned, America. I'll be right back on the Hugh Hewitt Show.